Over the last 7 years of investing into the crypto market, I have seen some of the highest highs and lowest lows that you could possibly imagine. From making millions of dollars during bull markets to losing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars during bear markets. I've really been on quite of a roller coaster ride these last couple of years. And throughout this journey and throughout this roller coaster ride that I've been on, I've come to recognize that there are 5 very crucial lessons that I've learned year after year after year that have allowed me to not only stay in this market, but to consistently win in this market over an extended period of time. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel back the curtain a bit and I'm going to start telling you some of these things that I have learned over the last couple of years that, again, have not only allowed me to stick around, but to win in this market, something that 99% of crypto investors aren't able to do. And so today we're going to break down these 5 things, starting with some of the most basic ones, all the way to some of your more advanced ones. And I'm going to just share with you all of the information that I think you need to know if you are someone who wants to actually win in this crypto market. Now, starting with lesson number 1. Again, this is going to be one that is very, very simple. This is protect yourself like your life depends on it. And the reason why I put this lesson in here as number 1, or step in here as number 1, is because I'm under the belief that it doesn't matter how good you get as an investor. You can be the world's best meme coin guy, the world's best NFT trader, the world's best leverage trader. It does not matter. If you don't protect yourself, all of those gains that you generate will turn into nothing. And the world's best investor can become the world's worst investor within 1 second if they don't do this. Now, what do I mean? Well, when I say that you need to protect yourself like your life depends on it, I'm saying that crypto security is non-negotiable. Losing everything is much easier than making it back. This means that you need to be using hardware wallets, strong passwords, never sharing your information, never clicking any scam links, never doing anything that might put yourself at a compromise. Getting multiple hardware wallets, going put one at the bank, writing down all your passwords on paper and keeping that in a vault somewhere, not storing it in a screenshot on your phone like I know some of you are doing. Not doing those things. Because again, the reality of it is that anything that I'm about to tell you in these next couple lessons will not matter, because if you do start winning in crypto, you can become a losing crypto investor within a flash if you don't protect your assets. First and foremost, just had to get that out the way. Now, the second step, the second thing that you must know if you actually want to win in this crypto market is to understand that crypto is designed for you to lose. I know that's a hard thing to hear. I know that might sound a little controversial, but I do believe it to be the truth. I have been investing in crypto again for 7 years, actively every day for 5 years. And I have come to recognize one very similar pattern. The people at the bottom lose, the people at the top win. Over a long enough amount of time, that's just how it goes. And some people call it a pyramid scheme, call it what you want, but we're in this world and that's just what we got. The people at the bottom lose, the people at the top win. There are instruments out there designed specifically for you as a small, normal retail investor, myself included, to lose. Some of these things can include liquidations, psychological traps, leverage, snipers, front running. And there are things your brain can't even wrap around. There's so many things out there that are designed to allow the people who are in the know, the insiders, the lizard people at the top, in order for them to win and for you to lose. Let me give you an example. One thing that we see in the crypto market all the time is something called a liquidation. A liquidation quite simply means that you opened up a trade while borrowing money from an exchange or a market maker, whoever it may be. You borrowed money to open a trade. And I know that sounds risky, especially if you're a beginner. People do it. It's called leverage trading. But the thing about it is that sometimes when you leverage trade, you end up getting liquidated. And liquidated just means you're so wrong that whoever you borrowed that money from wants their money back, and whatever money you put up as collateral, they want it all back. And what happens is that when you get liquidated, that money flows not only from you back to the person you borrowed it from, but generally all the way up to the top, up into the hands of the lizard people, as we call them here on the channel. Now, institutions have the capability of seeing from an insider perspective where your liquidation levels are, or at what point you would get liquidated. And what I've come to recognize is that history shows that when they see that you're capable of being liquidated at, say, Bitcoin's price of 75,000, the likelihood is Bitcoin's going to go to 75,000 inorganically in order to liquidate you, and then it'll go on its merry way. I'm under the belief that they have some sort of control over this market to push it in certain directions to cause liquidations to take your crypto from you. And this is just one small example. There is insider trading, there's anything you could possibly imagine that is built and designed for retail investors like you and me to lose. And there's not much that you can do. You can't change it, that you don't need to be a crybaby about it. That's just what it is. But knowing that it exists and knowing that it's there, or as we said here, recognizing manipulation is the key to avoiding it. Well, how do you avoid it? Well, you need to break down the root of it. Where does it come from? And I don't have time to tell you how to avoid manipulation in every single aspect of crypto, but let me give you some key examples. If you're a leverage trader, you need to avoid high liquidation zones. If you don't know what a liquidation zone is and you're still new to crypto, you don't even need to worry about this part because you're not going to be leverage trading anyway. But if you are leverage trading, you need to avoid high liquidation zones. Compare your trades versus liquidation maps. And if your liquidation levels are in alignment with other high areas of liquidations, you need to add more margin or reduce that leverage to remove that liquidation. Simple as that. Another example is if you're investing into meme coins. If you invest into meme coins, especially those that are a little bit more secluded, you don't know who the team is, you don't know who's running it, you don't know their reputation, the likelihood is that you're going to buy into it. They're going to use you as exit liquidity, meaning they're going to sell it to you, and then the thing's just going to disappear and die, and all those tokens that you bought are going to be worth nothing. These are all the different ways that you can start avoiding not being a part of this manipulation game. But if you just start jumping in on high leverage or buying random meme coins, you're just feeding money to these lizard people, these whales, the smart money, institutions, whatever you want to call it. You're just feeding them. And that is only going to cause you to lose more money and more money and more money over time and walk you away from the whole point of this video, which is how to actually win in crypto. So I need you to understand again, this market is built for you to lose. They want as much control over crypto as humanly possible. And if you play the game, you will lose right along with everyone else. Step number 3, and this is, in my opinion, the most important step of this list. 4 and 5 are incredibly important, and you need to watch them, so don't click off. But step number 3 is more important than you can imagine. Step number 3 is to create a strategy or just lose by default. Tyler, what does that mean? The people who enter into the crypto space who have a strategy win. The people who enter into the crypto space and they don't have a strategy lose. That is not Tyler's guess. That is not Tyler's opinion. That is objectively the truth. 99% of investors who don't have a strategy lose. That means that 1% of people just get lucky. They buy that thing that their friend told them about. They make a bunch of money. They accidentally sell it on time. Good for them. Are you willing to roll the dice and hope that you're in that 1%? I wouldn't. That's not how you actually win in crypto. If you enter into the world of crypto, you need to create a strategy. And if you don't, as I mentioned before, and you just freestyle, it's financial, this word that we can't say on YouTube anymore. Simple as that. Now, how does a strategy work? The good part about it, especially if you're new to crypto, is it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be. My investment strategies get a little bit complicated. I'm not going to lie to you, but I've been developing and refining them for 6-7 years. But the beautiful part about a strategy, especially in the world of crypto, is it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be incredibly simple. But there's one thing that it must be. And I need you to hear me on this. It must be void of emotion. What I mean by that is you can have a strategy that's as simple as saying, I'm going to buy crypto every Wednesday while it's green or while it's red for the month. And when the month becomes green, I'm going to sell crypto every Thursday. Rather simple strategy. Or let's make it a little more complex. I'm going to buy crypto every Wednesday while we're below the 50-week simple moving average on Bitcoin. And I'm going to sell Bitcoin or crypto, whatever it may be, every week while we're above the 50-week moving average for Bitcoin. Maybe that's your strategy. Very simple. But do you recognize something? Nowhere in there is there any way for me to add the variable of emotion. It's not me saying I'm going to buy whenever I'm scared or I'm going to sell whenever I'm happy. It's not, I'm going to buy things right now and then I'll sell it whenever I'm happy with my position size. That's something I hear beginners say all the time. Well, I'll just sell it when I'm happy with how much I have. No, you won't. The reality of it is that the people who enter into the crypto space are going to rely on emotions, and that's why they lose. Do you remember I told you the people who enter into the space and don't have a strategy will almost always lose? The reason being is because if you don't have a strategy, you're relying on emotion. And if you rely on emotion, or even really let emotion become a part of it at all, the likelihood of you losing goes up. And so, knowing that emotion is such a negative thing in the world of crypto, something that's like a cancer, genuinely a cancer to your portfolio, you must completely remove it from your strategy. So, when you create a strategy, it has to be data driven. That's the only way to avoid emotions, right? Because, say, for example, if I go look back at history and say, okay, every single year that crypto has been around, if I'd have been buying under the 50-week simple moving average and selling above it, I would make money. The moment that Bitcoin, for example, falls below that moving average, I'll start buying and I'm not going to be scared. Why? Because my strategy is based on data. The data says this is what's always happened. Therefore, that's what my strategy says. Now it gets a little more complicated than that, but you get the point. It's not me saying, oh, I'm going to buy whenever I feel this way or think this way. No. When Bitcoin does that, I will buy. When Bitcoin does that, I will sell. There's no room for emotions. There's no room for thinking, nothing. Because what will happen is you will change. Your strategy will change. You may say, well, I'll buy Bitcoin with $100 and I'll sell it whenever I'm happy with whatever money I have. And then it's going to go up to $150 and you're going to think, I bet I can get to 160. Then it'll hit 160. And then you know what you'll say? I can get to 200. Then boom, it's gone. Whereas if you had a strategy, there never would have been the room for variable. You would have bought it at 100, you'd have sold it at 150, you'd have called it a day. And you'd have been proud of yourself for sticking to the strategy. So whenever you enter into the world of crypto, and look, strategies get very deep and very complex, and I'll talk about that in a second. So we're not going to get too deep into developing a strategy today because I'll talk your head off for 30 minutes. But what I do need you to understand is that whatever strategy you create must be void of emotions. Having a strategy is the number one deciding factor whether you win or whether you lose. And now I will let you guys know, because of that, and just to kind of show you proof of that, I think strategies are so important. I literally, over the last couple of years, created an entire school dedicated to strategy. Think about that. This lesson is so important. I have an entire school dedicated to it, in which we have over 3,000 members learning every single day all of these things. Now, if that is you, if you're someone who's interested in learning more, what we do at the school is very simple. We take crypto investors like yourselves. We give you value such as coaching, workshops, classes, trade signals, strategic sessions, masterminds, and much more to help you create the strategies. Because remember, strategies create winning investors. And when I say winning investors, I mean winning investors. $800 gain, 20%, 20%, 185%. These are the gains from our community just within the last couple hours. There has been over $4 million in profit generated by this school just within the last couple months. So if that is something that interests you, before we move on to the very next step here, the best part about it is that it starts as little as $5 a month. If you don't grow within your first couple hours of being a part of the school, we'll just give you your money back. That's how much value is there. That's how confident we are. So go to the link down below, go check that out, and let me know what you think. Moving on to the next one. Now, speaking of strategies, let's get a little bit more complicated. When you have a strategy, it is dire that you do the 3 R's that I call it. I call it here in the school. Reassess, refine, and reactivate. You reassess your strategy. You then refine it based on your findings. And then you reactivate it based on that refinement. So let's say, for example, let me tell you why this is so important. Let's say, for example, you create a strategy that you're going to buy every time Bitcoin goes below the 50 moving average, and you're going to sell it every time it goes above the 50 moving average. And that works very well for 6 years. But then something starts to happen. Bitcoin, being an expanding asset, just never goes below the 50 moving average for some reason. You never know why. Maybe there's a floor of buys from an institution or something causing what you've been doing to just kind of stop working. Well, what are you going to do? Are you just never going to buy crypto again? Well, of course not. What are you going to do? You're going to go in, you're going to reassess. Okay, we're not going under the 50. We are going under the 25 though, and the 25 is working very similarly to the 50. So you're going to refine that strategy now based on your new findings, and then you're going to reactivate your strategy based on that correction that you made. What you must understand, and something that we talk about here on the slide, is that investors who marry a trend or a strategy instead of adapting get left behind. Marriage in crypto is death. And I know that's crazy. And fun fact, as you're watching this, I'm getting married right now in real life. Funny thing to throw in there. But marriage in crypto is death. Because the crypto world is an expanding asset class. It is ever changing, it is ever evolving, it is introducing variables every single day. And so knowing that this is an ever changing, ever evolving asset class, those who do not evolve and change and adapt die. If you only invest in the gaming coins back in 2021, guess what? You missed the entire bull market of 2023, 24, and well, not much of 2025. If you only invested in the AI, well, you've missed the layer 1 narrative. If you only invested in the layer 2s, you missed the AI narrative. If you only do one thing and never change it or reassess it, you will get left behind and eventually be a losing investor. Mark my words. And so you need to constantly be ready to make changes, shifts, adaptations, reassessments, refinements, and reactivations at any given moment. You must. Trust me. Now, the very last thing that we're going to go over today, the very last step of the day, is move at a toxically slow pace. And I know that's a little bit odd. That sounds a little bit weird. But I need you to hear me on this. This mistake in the summer of 2021 cost me $195,000. And as a 20-year-old at the time, that was a lot of money. So when I'm looking at you trying to break this wall right here, right, I need you to listen to me. Be okay with moving at a toxically slow pace. Tyler, what do you mean? Whenever you start creating a strategy, whenever you start investing in a crypto, there will be a point in time where you start doing well. It's kind of destiny. If you keep working on something and building it and fixing it, eventually it'll start working a little bit, right? Right. I think we can agree on that. Let's think about it like a car. We build a car from scratch. The first couple weeks or months, it doesn't really work very well. But then one day, it turns on. What's the next thing that you're going to do? Let me give you this analogy before I go into the crypto version of this. What would you do? It turns on. Would you just take it to the highway and drive it as fast as humanly possible? Probably not, right? Why? Because you don't want to die, I would assume. No, what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, let's just leave it on for a little while. I turned it on. Let's just leave it on. Will it stay on? Okay, it'll stay on. Let's back it out the driveway. Let's see how it handles a little turbulence. Okay, let's drive it around the neighborhood. Okay, now as we've driven out the neighborhood, let's go out on the street a little bit. I don't want to go too far though, just in case. Let me get my jack. Let me put it in the back, just in case. And then as you do that a couple times, then you'll maybe take it on the main road. Then you'll take it on a highway. Then you'll be more confident. And that toxically slow pace of progression is what you must implement in crypto. Because what people will do is this. Let me give you the crypto version. They'll start investing. They'll make a little money, whether it's leverage trading, meme coin investing, NFTs, yield farming, altcoin, blue chip investing. It doesn't matter. They'll make a little bit of gains at some point. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to just go all in. People do it all the time. They'll put $100 into a meme coin. They'll turn it into 2,000. Then they're going to take that 2,000, spend 200, and take the 1,800 and just put it into the next one that they find because they're confident. Because they think that their strategy is so strong and so secure that, well, they know what they're doing. And the equivalent of that is just getting the car to turn on for the first time and then just driving it on the highway as fast as humanly possible. It's the same thing. You mustn't, that's a word, you mustn't move too fast. I've wrote here for you. Crypto rewards patience, not impulsive moves. Moving too fast leads to bad decisions and wrecked accounts. FOMO is your biggest enemy. And the moment you feel ready to go big, you're at max risk. Meaning the moment that you are ready to take that next step, you've been leverage trading with $1 per trade, and now you're ready to go to $10. That's when you're at the most risk. And that's when you need to go the absolute slowest, the absolute calmest, with the least impulsiveness. Because if you rush into that next step, that next move, you're going to trigger something that you're not supposed to have: emotions. So move slowly, move gracefully, and graciously, and understand that you are at a great risk anytime you take steps forward in the world of crypto. And if you can do that, combined with these other things that we've talked about today and the things we're going to talk about in the future, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. All of these things have led me to be able to win throughout crypto, not just for a couple months or a year or 2 years, but for multiple years, making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in this space as an investor, as a YouTuber, as a businessman. And I wanted to share that with you today, and I hope you did enjoy it. Don't forget that if you do want to get help with all of these things, a little guidance with all these things, with coaching and workshops and daily research and more, there's a link to the school down below. And you can become a winning investor if you put in the effort. And that's available for you down there. Now, if you're someone who just wants some free stuff, I got you covered. I have 2 free guides for you released down in the description below. The first one being Crypto for Beginners. So if all this stuff was a little bit complicated, I have a Crypto for Beginners guide available for you right now down below. You go, you enter in your information, I'll send it to you myself. And you can learn how this whole crypto thing works. And if you're a little more advanced, go get Beyond the Basics. This goes a little bit deeper into indicators, leverage trading, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and much more. So go download your 2 free guides. Go check out some of the links down below. And if you are ready, head to the link down below and go check out the crypto school again. Because for as little as $5 a month, you can already start to implement some of the things we talked about today. So let me know how you guys thought. What did you think about this video? Bit of a different style than we normally post, but I really did enjoy it. And again, while you are watching this right now, I'm getting married. So hopefully it's being a great day right now for me, and I can't wait to see you all very soon. I hope you guys did enjoy. So don't forget to smash that like button on your way out, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.